Hey y'all.
This is Simone.
This is Saritha.
And this is Clean Ears.
Yes, we are back. It is Monday. We are here.
Yes.
For you.
With you. We are talking today about growth in CHH.
Oh.
Yes.
Yeah, I think it's important. And we're just doing this like little music talk because we feel like it's important to kind of address CHH, and because a lot of people think it's not growing, or they feel like it's not growing, or how can it stay relevant, and all of those things.
Yes, so if you are new, if this is the first video that you're watching of ours, CHH is Christian hip hop.
Oh wow.
Yeah, just, hey, covering the bases here. Welcome if you're new.
Okay.
Hello. It's kind of been like there's been a lot of discussion lately on Twitter about how some people, they grow to a certain point, they leave the genre, they kind of look at it as a springboard into something else. And so it seems the talk has been that there's not a lot of longevity. We talked a little bit about it on our podcast. We didn't have that much time, so we kind of had to just to touch on it as the conversation was unfolding. And so now we're just, getting into the meat of the thing.
Yeah. The question really is there longevity in Christian hip hop? Is it growing? Can this sustain itself? Kind of, because they're saying there's not a lot of money in it. So people end up either quitting or moving on to a different genre or whatever.
Yeah, I think most of Christian hip hop operates in an independent space.
Mm-hmm.
And so sometimes people have certain distribution deals or certain deals that will help them to be able to tour and things like that. But there's still not a lot of money in it, money behind it.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think as a result of that, some people who are perhaps wanting to hey, I just want to make my money rapping and I don't really have aspirations of other things. Sometimes it's a little bit more challenging because you kind of have to pull from multiple streams.
Right.
If you're an independent artist, just like if you were a freelancer or whatever, you would kind of have to pull from a couple of different places just to make sure that you're good.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I think that the audience is in a place of where they're just now realizing what it's going to take for the artist to be a full-time artist. And that's kind of the push and pull there, because Christian circles are used to getting stuff for free.
Yes.
So now they're at a place where they got to pay for the message, and they don't like it.
Yeah, because you're paying for a message that you're paying for hey, I know what this is about.
Mm-hmm.
So you're pointing me to Christ. Okay, got it. I'm already here and here for that. And so it's kind of hard to, I can see where it can be kind of hard, but I also see it's from so many different sides where it's challenging, because also a lot of Christian artists want their audience to buy into their getting to that place and being able to do it full time too. Mm-hmm. So it's we're operating as a funding pool as the consumers and as the fans. And so that structure is a little bit different.
Yeah.
Because even with independent artists, it just functions a little bit differently. I think that I do see, when I look at secular indie artists and I look at Christian indie artists, I see where Christian indie artists are now starting to get a little bit more hustle behind their stuff.
Yes.
But indie artists that are outside of the genre that I'm familiar with, there is often a lot of hustle in terms of getting to certain places, being in certain places, and Christian hip hop artists are starting to get to that place as well.
Yes. And with that, they are getting to a place of where they are pushing the genre to try to make it more fleshed out, more a place where people can have longevity. Because previously to this, you'll have artists who are around for 5 to 6 years and then they leave. A lot of the pioneers of Christian hip hop are not rapping anymore, mostly because they couldn't sustain it. There was no place to go. The churches weren't having them. You were actually at community centers. You had to do stuff for free. A lot of music, everything was free, and so they couldn't keep it up. So now you have people who are OGs in the game, but they're just now starting to get paid, so they couldn't really do it full time. And now you have artists who are we know what it means to be an artist full time, and so now they're hustling. They're on YouTube, they're on SoundCloud, they're out here touring all the time. They got their merch. They're really trying to move this into a place of where it is full time, but the audience has to also move with them to know what it takes to have an artist be full time. Secular worlds know what it takes. They have infrastructure. They have ways of continuing it on. And unfortunately, in Christian hip hop, we don't have that infrastructure yet. They're not at a place of where there's somewhere for you to go to keep doing this so that we can have a Jay-Z in 10 years.
Yeah, and I think with the infrastructure and the money part, what makes it challenging is that the motive or the goal is about the same for any artist on the secular side. Hey, you're trying to do this full time, okay.
Right.
But because for a lot of Christian hip hop artists, this is ministry. Hey, this is what I do over here, but this is what I do as ministry. I don't want to get paid. I'm okay with that or whatever.
Oh, people don't want to get paid?
When I was looking at Twitter, there were some people out here who were really just like, I'm good.
Oh.
And I was just, that wasn't a lot.
I did not know.
But there were even some fans who were like, hey, physical currency? Oh.
Dollars and cents? American dollars?
And so I think that sometimes because the motive is not always the same, then sometimes people, I can see how there could be confusion in how to treat different artists. Because you get a Christian rapper last week and the week before and the week before, and then you get one this week. And this one is like, hey, these are my fees to do the show.
Right.
And then you're like, what? You know what I'm saying? I can really see there being confusion about that because there are different motives.
Right.
There's some people who are like, I make my money here, but rap is just like, I just want to, this is what I like to do. And there are different people who they have different goals. And I think that because it's not the same, I can see there being confusion when people get accustomed to having somebody come perform for free or seeing somebody perform for free. Then it's like, oh. And also I can imagine it's challenging because it's not like a Christian artist or a Christian tour can just have a whopping ticket price. The last time that we paid to see Lecrae, we had to pay real money. We were like, we were all in the group text like, oh my gosh. We're in the group text like, we paid real money for this
show. But
also, I think it's about for us as fans and as consumers to get to a place where we are comfortable paying real money.
Yeah.
We have to value our artists too. And if that's the ticket price, then be like, all right. That's what it is. If I want to go, I can't be like, these people getting too, they done toured a couple times. Oh, now they want me to pay $40 for the ticket. It's like, we've got to honor them by paying them too.
Yes.
Because a lot of these people have families and stuff like that. We've talked about this a little bit before on the podcast. People have families, people have bills, and making music in itself, creating the actual art is not free.
Not at all. And if we want the value that we're looking for, if we want the artistry that we've been talking about, you've got to pay for that. And it's not free artistry.
Exactly. So I've been enjoying watching CHH grow into a place where you're seeing more like music in commercials. Mm-hmm. So, when you see like an NBA thing and you're like, wait, is that... Right. Is that Kristen Gray playing? Is that Andy playing?
Yo,
I am loving this space.
Yes, I'm sure I'm the only person after Dear White People who were like, into one of those episodes, I was like, that is Andy and Words played, y'all. They get that Netflix money.
Yes, we get so hype about it. We be acting like we the proud cousins over here. Like,
yes. We want it to grow because that means that we get to continue on with this for a long term. And if you are a fan, like we are a fan, and you realize the value of having this genre, then you have to be more flexible and you have to be willing to open that pocketbook and let some dollars come out.
Yes. And I think the same applies even to artists. I think it's great that you can have shows in churches and stuff like that, but being open to venues that would be more appealing to perhaps not your usual audience, if possible, because again, I know money is probably a constraint, but even like for me, it was great the first time that I went and saw like Kristen and Swoop and Natalie and Alex and all thems. It was like, be right. I was like, don't leave one person off, It was awesome because I was at a venue that I'd been to before, like in my BC life, to see someone else. And that is something like, it's easier to bring a friend.
Yeah.
Because I actually invited a couple friends that night. But
it's a story.
It's a story we shan't tell.
Nope.
Not on this day. And but either way, but it's easier to say, hey, come to this concert at this place, as opposed to come to this concert at this church. Like I promise you, if it was in a church, they wouldn't have come.
Yeah.
And that may mean something to some artists, and some artists may be like, fine.
If you got that message.
But some artists are like, huh. And so just putting that out there, I think that could contribute to some of the growth, but then we also understand the money piece as well. So like we get it on both sides. But I think that as artists are willing to invest more, the audience needs to be willing to invest more too. And we have to accept that this is a community effort.
Yes.
And that we all need to contribute to make things happen.
Yes.
And for people who, you know, it's hard to say because, again, you know, it's just with the infrastructure, there are a lot of job positions that are not filled or that are being filled by people like the artist. It's like, hey, it's me. I'm a manager. I did the lights. I did the sound.
Right.
I'm sweeping after my set. It's a lot.
I think it's also, well, that's one of the things that's interesting is that everybody wants to be an artist, and people don't realize that there are other pieces of the puzzle that need to be filled in. There's a lot that doesn't get touched because we don't value those gifts as well. For a lot of people, they're like, hey, Christians, we have all types of gifts, administrative gifts, managerial gifts, you know, A&R gifts. All of those gifts are important. Like, we need people in those areas too. And so we should be pushing that as well. Like, if we could really build there, that's how you get longevity. You need places for these people to go to promote. Like, we need radio. We need shows like ours to have interviews. We need more places for people to go and promote and show their things rather than just on Instagram.
Exactly. If you're serving in your church and you're serving in a production capacity in terms of like putting on worship or anything like that, there's still plenty of places where you can also take that and make a career of that in the Christian hip hop world or Christian space too. And so there are so many opportunities and so many jobs that need to be filled. And a lot of times, you know, because even for us, sometimes it's hard for us to do everything we need to do.
I know sometimes.
Yeah.
It's hard.
Yeah. We
that's why we're taking a break.
Talent and the management. It's a lot. Like, you know, and I can imagine for an artist who's on tour, like, I have to do all of this. I can't even get in my headspace to perform because I got to deal with the guy about the venue, about the things, with the such and such, and it's a lot. It's a lot. So I think that that's another growth area that is needed. And I think we've grown in that. We've definitely seen people who've helped to put shows together.
Right.
I was really proud A3C weekend was recently in Atlanta, and to see CHH presence there, to see CHH presence at South by Southwest earlier this year, it's like, I'm glad to see us growing into spaces that are outside of just our communities and our home churches. We're not just promoting our music there, but we're stretching the message out to places where saints may not be.
Yes, that's how you get the message out. That's how you get to make this a ministry.
Win them souls.
Go to the people.
So guys, I hope that you enjoyed this video with us talking about just a little bit of the CHH industry, things that we would like to see in terms of growth. And if you're an artist or anybody who works in the industry, we'd love to hear your take on things. Definitely comment on the video. Let us know, hey, these are the struggles. These are actually things that are going on. Hey, these are positions I have available. Like, please use these comments as a space to get what you need. Because if I see it, trust me, I'll drop it on Twitter. Like, we'll put it out there.
Yeah.
And be sure to like this video if you like it. And subscribe. And things. Yes, all of the stuff. So guys, until next time.
Have a good time.
Bye.